Next, we need to be able to find a hole in the graph. So we're going to try to find the hole in this graph for the function f of x equals x minus 3 times x plus 3 all over x minus 3. Now, before, we would take the denominator, say, well, x minus 3 cannot be equal to 0, so x cannot be equal to 3, and your domain would be all real numbers except for 3. So this is our domain. And that is still our domain, but then we were taking the values of the domain. We would say, well, there's a vertical asymptote at that value. But the one exception to that is if it's a factor of the top and the bottom, numerator and denominator. So x minus 3 is a factor of the numerator and denominator, so they would cancel out, and your function would be f of x is equal to x plus 3, which is linear. So instead of this being an asymptote, it's going to be a hole in the graph. So, just like we did with asymptotes, we have a hole at the excluded value of x is equal to 3. Can't be an asymptote because they both cancel out. They're both factors of the numerator and denominator. If they're a factor of the numerator and denominator, it creates a hole in the graph. And the graph would actually look like, if we were to graph it, and it's going to be a rough drawing, but so we'd start a graph at 3, go up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1, and here at x equals 3, instead of having an asymptote, there would be a hole. So it would just be an open point. So if I draw my graph, I'd have an open point there. So we'd have a line, the same as any other line we normally have, except for it can't be the value of 3 because it's open. And that's because if you put 3 back in your original equation, you will be dividing by 0. We can't divide by 0, so it can be anything except for this value right here.